Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of City Sim Builds. And before we begin today, I wanted to address the elephant in the room, which is my voice. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, and but I still wanted to try and record a video and work on some of the things I wanted to work on with Two Rivers County. So just a recap of what we did last time. We expanded our rural roads over here and added some rural development. We also came over here into Rivertown and changed what is like the central park there. It's I've named it Peak Park, which I think is a pretty fitting name for the park. And also went ahead and changed a lot of the aesthetics about the park. First of all, removed it from being a pedestrian area and made it a actual park area, and then added, some really good park amenities like this chessboard set, this fountain, some bathrooms, a cafe, and I added in some trees lining the paths and everything. We might add a few more amenities to this as time goes on, but I think for now this is looking pretty good. And the other thing we did was we came over here and extended our highway, which kind of bypasses Rivertown on the, I guess it's the north side. When I'm looking at this area, I'm kind of thinking over here is east, that's north, that's south, and that's west. So, but yeah, as you can see, we extended it over here, which is going to be great for whenever we do our expansion for this city over here, which is going to end up being like the county seat, the main hub of Two Rivers County. And from here, we're going to have things like, harbor access. I'd like to get passenger rail carried over here, and also have like ferry connections over here to this island where we're going to have a small community over here. But with that, I want to get into today's episode. Also, if you could hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below and hit the like button, that would really, really help me out. I'll definitely take some pity likes or subscribes and comments and things like that. Being sick and everything, if you want to do that. But yeah, I'd really, really appreciate that. And before we get into the meat of today's episode, I went into Bob, using Alt-B, and I went ahead and changed some of the trees in here. I wasn't liking some of the trees that came with this map. It's much more of a vanilla asset, and they weren't looking great to me. And also, we had a lot of mid-century modern developments, especially like in the low residential areas, and I decided to change them out to have pine trees instead of palm trees. And there's still one here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and change this real quick. So we're gonna select this date palm, and I'm gonna find a pine tree that I like. It's a boreal pine, generic. We'll just use a generic pine. And apply and save changes. And hopefully, I guess I might have to do this for quite a few of these. I think with each individual asset here that I have to go in and manually change that. But on the whole, things are looking way, way better. Especially when you get out into the countryside here. And this is one tree here that I also don't like. I'm going to change this real quick. Yeah, and this is the alder. Maybe we'll go for this eastern cottonwood. I kind of like the way that looks. Yeah, and that fits much, much better in here. God, there's still more pine trees. I'm going to go in and change these as much as I can real quick. So I guess with this, it looks like you have to change each individual building type, like go into Bob and change that. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds in this. I might do some of this off camera, and I was thinking of actually doing a stream sometime, especially when I start to feel a bit better and have more of a voice for doing that. But yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, please leave a comment down below saying that you'd like to do that. And so the thing I want to do today, that's like the main focus of this episode, is I want to address our power issues. As you can see, we don't really have much room here in terms of our overhead with electricity production. We're almost kind of in this equilibrium status quo kind of area with the yellow. And we've been teetering on the edge of that for a while. And one of the things I want to do with this build is have it be more of a green build, even though we do have, industries like the ore industry and the oil industry that are definitely probably pretty big polluters. When it comes to power, I'd like to have things be a bit more green. So in doing so, I want to place a hydroelectric dam, and I'm thinking of doing that right here. And the main reason for that is because, I see we have some death care issues up here. I wonder I'll come back and take a look at this here in a second. But the main reason I want to do that is because there's only one road going up to Pinewood, and I'd love to have some sort of back access to Pinewood. And what I'm thinking is extending this road down to over here, building a pretty hefty hydroelectric dam, and then extending the road along. I guess, we would create a nice path for that, do some terrain modification, and have it switch back down to over here, where our ore industry is. I think that'd be a good spot and a logical termini for that road. So with that, let's go ahead and take care of this death care issue that we have in Pinewood, and then we will build the hydroelectric dam. So I'm really confused as to why we have issues up here. We have healthcare, we have clinics, and maybe what we don't have, which I thought we had, which was a crematorium. And I think we have a little bit too much healthcare maybe up here for this size of community. So I think originally I thought this was a crematorium, but I guess it wasn't. But it looks like we do have one here. So I don't know, I'm kind of puzzled by this, why we have such issues. Let's take a look and see. Maybe we're just going through, I guess, like a death wave. Oh no, and there's some issues here in the park. That's not good. Let's check our budget real quick. So I'm going to bump up our healthcare a little bit, especially now that our budget seems to have stabilized. I think that'll help things out a little bit, and we'll see if that kind of helps take care of some of these death care issues that we're having up here. So let's get into the meat of today's episode, which is building this road over here to have a hydroelectric dam. And I was taking a look at this, and it seems like this would be a really good spot for it because we have a lot of great water flow right through here. And then also there's a pretty substantial elevation drop, which I think would be really nice for providing all that, potential energy needed for a good hydroelectric dam. So with that, I'm going to go in and try and place the dam first, especially since we have a decent amount of cash here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at our terrain, and I'm going to see what might be a good spot to place this dam. So if we bring the road down this way and eventually have it curve over, we might have to do a switchback or two to have it, to have the slopes be pretty decent. But I'm thinking somewhere along in here. I'm gonna grab the terrain about in here and flatten out an area. Something about like that. And then I'm gonna make sure I have that same terrain height and come over here and do the same thing. And then let's test out a dam here and see what kind of production we would be getting in terms of electricity production. So let's start up here. Wow, that's pretty reasonable. We're almost at a gigawatt. We have 800 megawatts if we do this, and the cost is not as much as I thought it was going to be. It's like right at $100,000, which would still leave us plenty of money left over to continue the build. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here. I think this is a really good spot for this. Great. So I'll speed things up and see how this fills up. And the other good thing is that I don't think this would create a whole lot. If you come here and look at the, whoa, a little too far. Come here and look at the elevation here. I don't think it's going to create too large of a lake behind it, which would be really nice. That way we could still develop some of this land up here in the future. So now that we have our dam in place, I'm going to start thinking about how I want this road to kind of meander its way down this way. So we have this landing pad over here, and I'm going to extend this out a little bit. And I think it'd be nice to have maybe a couple switchbacks in here. So I'm going to extend this to here, level this out, and then I'm going to do the same thing for over, let's say about here. And then, yeah, I think, so what we're going to do is come around this way, switch back up this way, and then come back around this way. So we'll have, I guess, two pretty tight hairpin curves there. So let's grab this elevation, come down here and slope along the edge over here. Nice and gentle to over there. And then looking at this, I think I might extend this portion of the switchback over here just to make it not as intense of a curve now that I'm looking at it. So I'm going to grab this elevation and come up this way. And then lastly, I'm going to grab this one, come down here and bring it up over this way. Okay, I think that is looking pretty good. Let's go in and place the road roughly and see how things are looking. And I'm going to use the freeform road tool here to make this section bend a little bit better. Oh, and it looks like we have some water issues here. Okay, let's go in and take a look at water availability. And I think it has something to do with our dam. All right. For the sake of not blowing up the build, I'm going to just build 2 water pumps over here and connect them up to the grid. This is definitely not realistic, but yeah, until we get our flows established back with the dam in place, I think this is going to have to be our best case for redundancy. So let's see if that takes care of our water issues for right now. Okay, we're looking good. Good, okay. And it looks like we should be okay here in a little bit. I think our dam, yep, wow, holy cow. 1,536 megawatts. That is not what I was expecting. That is impressive. Let's go ahead, since we have that much power already, and connect things up, and then maybe we can start to decommission some of our other power uses, since we really don't need them. And the other thing too is that this is costing us a lot for upkeep. So I think it'll make a lot of sense to go ahead and decommission those other electrical resources as well. So with something like this, we're probably going to need a transmission line of, in reality, of like a substantial amount. So I'm going to just carry this across like that, and then just for now bring it up there. Let's go through and remove some of the redundant electrical infrastructure that we don't really need anymore, like these windmills. And last but not least, most certainly, let's get rid of this coal power plant. Bye. Cool. All right, so our electrical production seems to be not doing well. I wonder why that's the case. Maybe we don't have electrical. Yeah, that's the issue. We don't have any sort of electricity going down to actually to Pinewood. So let's run a transmission line, and I'm thinking of having it go down the mountain and go across the river and connect right here. So let's take care of that real quick. And I had collision on, which I think was causing some issues. So I think that will take care of things. We still have one more connection here that is not matching up. All right, I am very confused about what is happening here. Maybe I will turn anarchy off and see if we can just do that. Okay, I think that is going to work out for us. So electricity is looking good. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to extend this road down to here now, using switchbacks and everything similar to what we did over here. All right, so what I'm going to do is follow this. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. I'm going to grab this elevation, and then I'm going to bring it down somewhere over here. And then from here, we're going to do a few switchbacks to get down to where the Mountainside Mining Company is located. So I'm going to go ahead and place our little landing pads for that. All right, I think that is looking nice. So let's go in and grab this and slope. Oh, and that is definitely wrong. All right, and let's go ahead and place the roads here. All right, that's looking good. Let's go in and check our slopes. Looks pretty good. 6s, that's fine. It's not too bad, but let's square things up a bit. Then we'll bring this down to here. And we have a node issue here. Let's go ahead and take care of that. All right, and for some reason, this will not let me connect to that node. So I'm going to see if I can do it this way. Let's force this on the ground. All right, there we go. That took care of that. All right, that is pretty intense. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if we do a shorter segment, if we can make this a little bit better. No. Okay, so maybe this is just too steep of grade, and maybe I need to raise up this section down here. Okay, let's try and see if that will help our grades here. Come to here, over here. Okay, 10.8, that is getting better, but we still need to come up some. Being kind of drastic with it, but I think that's okay. 8.4, I will take it. So that means we need to really upgrade the heights all through here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. 10s, let's raise the height down here and see if we can get that to function a little bit better. All right, so let's go over here, grab that node, come down over here, grab that node. 11.2, not the best. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to raise up this section even more. All right, we got 10s. This is gonna be pretty tricky, I think. All right, I'm gonna go through and try and do this whole thing here, and I'll be back in a bit. All right, so we got things at 10.1. That's looking not terrible. And it looks like we have some node issues here. All right, so we got 8.8. That's pretty good. Let's go back and take a look at the slopes again. 8.8, 9.3, 10.1. Let's raise up this middle node here. Okay, 9.2, and that's the wrong direction. All right, so I'm gonna go through here and pick a few spots to raise up. All right, let's try working with that. All right, I think we finally have it. So I think be good with what we have done here and stop fiddling with it. And I'm gonna go ahead and smooth out the terrain so that it doesn't look super crazy here. All right, and I think things here are looking pretty good. Do have some issues, but that should resolve itself as the water kind of stabilizes. Our dam is down to 640 megawatts, but I think that's because we terraformed back here some, and it jostled the water, as you can tell, and that's affecting our flow rate through the dam. But I think that is looking good. Let's pop into cinematic mode and take a look. Some nice switchbacks. I like this like mountain road that kind of hugs over here. Looks good. Yeah, one spot right here might try and straighten this out a little bit, although I'm not too terribly worried about it because, as I mentioned, I think in a previous episode, when you have these hairpin turns, it's not bad to kind of like curve the road a little bit as you head towards the big curve. Like this, put like a jog in it because it allows people to slow down even more before they make this larger turn here. So I might just keep that for right now. Things are stabilizing here with our dam. We're almost back up to a full gigawatt of power. And with that, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment down below or hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all back in the next episode. And hopefully by then my voice will be better and not sound so sickly. But until then, hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.